He invented the future you've never heard of. Imagine a world where information travels instantly, where anyone anywhere can connect to a global network of knowledge and communication. Sounds like today, right? Well, what if I told you that this exact vision, this digital dream we now live and breathe, was meticulously outlined by a man who died almost 80 years ago, Nikola Tesla? We all know him for the AC current system, the guy who gave us electricity in our homes, but his mind went far beyond just lighting up our nights. He was a futurist, a true visionary whose ideas were so ahead of their time they often landed him in the realm of mad science. What he envisioned was nothing short of a global brain, a system eerily similar to the internet we use every single second of every single day. And the story of how he saw it, how he tried to build it, and how his genius was tragically overlooked is one that's about to blow your mind. Most of us have a picture of Nikola Tesla in our heads, the wild haired scientist, the wizard of electricity, the rival of Edison. But to call him just an inventor of AC is like calling Da Vinci just a painter. Tesla was a man who lived decades, even a century, into the future. His notebooks weren't just filled with circuit diagrams, they were blueprints for tomorrow. He saw possibilities where others saw blank walls, and his dreams stretched far beyond the practical applications of his time. This was a man whose imagination wasn't bound by the limitations of current technology, but rather his technology was driven by the boundless scope of his imagination. He wasn't just thinking about what was possible, he was designing what would be possible. And in the heart of his grandest visions was something that looked, sounded, and functioned astonishingly like the modern internet. Tesla wasn't content with just sending power through wires. His ultimate ambition was to make everything wireless, to untether humanity from cables and cords. This wasn't just about making lights glow, it was about connecting minds across continents. He dreamt of a world wireless system, a colossal global network designed to transmit not just electrical energy, but all forms of data. We're talking radio signals, voice messages, images, even complex data streams, all traveling effortlessly through the air and the earth itself. His grandest attempt to bring this vision to life was the infamous Wardenclyffe Tower project on Long Island, New York. It wasn't just a giant radio antenna, it was the intended centerpiece of this global communication network. Imagine a series of interconnected towers strategically placed around the globe, each one a node in a vast, invisible web. Tesla believed he could harness the Earth's natural electrical properties, essentially making the entire planet a giant conductor. His goal was audacious and frankly revolutionary: free, accessible communication for everyone everywhere. No matter if you were in New York or Nairobi, you could tap into this system, share information, receive news, and talk to anyone else connected. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like the promise of the internet? He wasn't just building a bigger radio, he was building a global information superhighway. Tesla wasn't just talking big, he was putting in the work. Long before Guglielmo Marconi received credit for the first transatlantic radio transmission, Tesla was already experimenting with radio waves and high frequency currents, laying the foundational bricks for wireless information exchange. He didn't just stumble upon this, he had a deep, almost intuitive understanding of how energy could be manipulated to carry information. He experimented extensively with resonant circuits, tuning them to specific frequencies, almost like setting a dial on a radio, but for far more complex purposes. One of his most radical ideas was using the Earth itself as a conductor. Forget stringing miles of cable. Tesla thought the ground beneath our feet could carry signals around the world. He envisioned sending pulses into the Earth that would then propagate globally, carrying data with them. It was an ambitious, even daring concept at the time, and one that most of his peers dismissed as outlandish. Yet the principles he explored, the manipulation of electromagnetic waves, the concept of resonant frequencies, and the potential for a universal medium for data transmission, these are the very cornerstones of our modern wireless infrastructure. Every time you connect your smartphone to Wi Fi, every time you browse a website on a laptop without a cable, you're experiencing a direct lineage to Tesla's groundbreaking insights. He was sketching out the wiring diagram for Wi Fi and mobile data long before anyone even conceived of a cellular phone or a laptop. This is where it gets really mind bending. When you peel back the layers of his world wireless system, the similarities to our modern internet are not just striking, they're almost uncanny. Tesla envisioned a global network accessible to everyone, designed to facilitate information exchange and instant communication. Sound familiar? That's literally the internet in a nutshell. He dreamt of a decentralized network where information wasn't controlled by a single hub but was accessible from multiple points, a vision that directly mirrors the internet's distributed architecture. Think about it. Our internet isn't a single giant computer. It's millions of interconnected computers and servers talking to each other. Tesla wasn't just imagining a telephone line that went around the world, he was picturing a network of interconnected information nodes. Perhaps even more astonishing, Tesla anticipated the need for a global information repository. He spoke of a system where knowledge, data, and messages could be stored and retrieved by anyone connected to his network. This concept is remarkably similar to cloud storage, vast databases, and the very structure of the World Wide Web itself, where information resides on servers across the globe, ready to be accessed on demand. He was outlining a precursor to Google, a global library, and a universal communication hub all rolled into one, decades before the first computer even blinked to life. His ideas weren't just similar, they were foundational, a blueprint for the interconnected digital world we now take for granted. Despite the breathtaking scope and potential of his ideas, Tesla's world wireless system, embodied by the Wardenclyffe Tower, met a tragic end. His ambitious project wasn't brought down by a lack of scientific validity, but by a combination of factors that seem almost cruel in hindsight. The primary culprit was financial constraints. His main investor, JP Morgan, pulled the plug. Morgan, a titan of industry, saw Tesla's vision of free energy and free communication as a threat to his business model, which relied on metered energy and communication services. Why invest in something that wouldn't generate a profit? Beyond the financial hurdles, there was widespread skepticism from the scientific community. Tesla's methods were often unorthodox, and his grand pronouncements were frequently dismissed as the ravings of a madman. His ideas were just too far ahead of their time, too radical for many to grasp. Add to this the rise of competing, less ambitious, but more immediately profitable technologies like Marconi's radio, which focused on point to point communication rather than a global web, and Tesla's grand vision simply couldn't find the footing it needed. As a result, his revolutionary ideas for global wireless communication were largely ignored, his contributions overshadowed by others who arguably built on fragments of his work without the full scope of his genius. Wardenclyffe became a ruin, a monument to a dream deferred. This suppression wasn't just a personal tragedy for Tesla, it arguably delayed the progress of global communication by decades. Imagine where we'd be if his world wireless system had been fully realized in the early 20th century. The internet might have arrived half a century earlier. The world forgot him not because his ideas were wrong, but because they were too right, too profound, too threatening to the status quo. His genius was simply too inconvenient. For a long time, Nikola Tesla was largely a footnote in history books, often relegated to the shadows of his more commercially savvy contemporaries. But something remarkable has happened over the last few decades. Tesla's legacy is undergoing a powerful resurgence. His contributions, once dismissed or ignored, are now being re-evaluated, not just by historians, but by engineers, futurists, and even pop culture. He's increasingly recognized as not just an inventor, but as a true pioneer of the digital age. His name, once nearly forgotten, now graces cutting-edge innovations, most notably the electric car company that has revolutionized transportation, Tesla Inc., a testament to his vision of an electric future. But beyond the name, his ideas continue to inspire and inform. Researchers and engineers looking into new forms of wireless power or advanced communication networks often find themselves circling back to Tesla's notebooks, discovering insights that are still relevant today. It's a bittersweet recognition coming long after his death, but it's happening. Tesla is finally receiving the acknowledgement he truly deserved. He's no longer just the AC guy, he's the man who envisioned a world connected by invisible waves, a world where information was a universal right, a world that looks an awful lot like the one we're living in right now. He truly was a visionary who predicted the future, and his journey from obscurity to posthumous icon solidifies his place not just in history, but as an architect of our digital present.